Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time of day it is. I do hope it finds you well. My name is John, and I am an author, and I'm coming to you here today on another Writing Wednesday. This time to go over a brief history of my second book, In the Shadow of the Past. That is available on Amazon. That is linked down below. I'd love for you to check that out, as well as like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff below to this video. What you think of the story and the information I have. Um, the basic story for And the Sun Burned Red came to me probably also in high school when sort of I was doing a lot of work in building my, you know, what sort of has become sort of my fictional fantasy universe in my head. And really, I like the idea of, I mean, it's a very classic fairy tale trope. It's, in fact, the first one Tolkien used when he was writing his first Middle Earth story, The Fall of Gondolin, in 1917, I believe, while he was in the hospital after being wounded in World War One. Has the similar of person fleeing from bad guys, ends up in a secret or hidden or protected magical kingdom and sort of gets wrapped up in it. So I had that idea in my head for a long time, and that sort of built and evolved into a whole story of how not just the original character that founds it, but his daughter and his grandson all interact with this mysterious city. Featuring a new race that I call the Eisan, are hidden away from the world. And that there's, as well as the mystery of who they are, there's also the attacks by a mysterious group that doesn't communicate or claim or demand anything. They just show up over the mountains, raid, kill some people, take supplies, and then go back over the mountains. They call the Iron Men because of these iron collars they wear, and also why this things are slowly dying out. There's sort of just been this prolonged draft, and things are drought, not draft, and things are dying away, and things are becoming more desert like. The rivers aren't flowing as much. It's getting warmer, and magic is no longer like really a thing. That's dying away too. And sort of one of the symptoms of it is that um, you know the sun is burning red, bringing in a little bit of science fact that as stars get older, they turn red and get bigger. Figured I'd loop that in a little bit. So, all these interconnected mysteries that this family of three humans, the, father, daughter, and grandson, are all sort of wrapped up in and trying to solve as they're also trying to, protect their own people from these like Iron Men and, rediscover, save themselves from this ever worsening environment. Um, yeah, and I came up with quite a lot of that in high school. Certainly some of the nuances and details evolved over time. I first started actually writing it down in November of 2012. I remember that so precisely because that was the first year I heard of, and actually the only time I've participated, if I'm being honest, in a uh, NaNoWriMo or National Novel Writing Month, where I was taking a break from one of my editing rounds of editing my first book, which was still in various draft stages at that point, and decided to write something new. I certainly did not write the whole book in a month. I made pretty good progress for like a week and made it like a fifth of the way through the book, maybe. And then, but plotted out all of it, sort of wrote a table of contents. That's the first time I did that, of sort of sitting down and writing out like sort of a table of contents, of putting in order sort of the major events, and sort of getting an idea, of giving myself an idea where I wanted things to go. And I tinkered with it occasionally over the next few years, but I really didn't pick it up much until 2017, 2018, after I published my first book, The Shadow of the Past. Then I reread and did an edit of what I'd written before and found I was actually quite pleased with how it had turned out thus far. And then, continued writing the rest of it when I had free time to write. That took me a year, maybe year and a half. It was during a time where I tended to be very sporadic with my writing. Like, I'd have a couple good, weeks or weekends where I'd get a chapter or two done, and then I wouldn't touch anything for a couple months. So it took me maybe a year and a half to do a rough draft on that, and sent it out some people. My mom, my friend Doug, a couple other people, I think, to get some feedback on. And then largely turned back to, at that point, I had really decided after doing that rough draft that I wasn't satisfied with some of the stuff from my first book, The Shadow of the Past. So I went back and did a major overhaul and edit of that, sort of while I was getting feedback in of and the Sunburned Red, and did that, designed a new cover, everything like that, and got that update done, and then turned back to editing and the Sunburned Red, in which I created a cover for it as well, which I'm quite pleased with. Got that created, tinkered with some things, edited it two or three times before getting it published in 2021. Overall, I am. This is a book. Well, certainly quite a bit shorter. I mean, you can see by comparison, the two of them next to each other. It's quite a bit shorter, although I think I ended up using smaller print for this one. If I had a Yeah, it's definitely a little bit smaller print. I think if I'd used the same print, it would be a little bit thicker. Um, but yeah, I'd say this one I'm overall. It flows better. It's more succinct. It gets across, I think, fairly effectively the ideas that I was going for, the themes that I was going for. So overall, I'm pretty. This one, I am quite. The Shadow of the Past, not Shadow of the Past. I am very pleased with the Shadow of the Past and very proud of it. But overall, I think In the Sunburned Red is a more. It reflects more of who I am as an author now. I mean, I shouldn't put too much on the Shadow of the Past, given the fact that I started writing it when I was 20, or just turned 20. And that evolved. I started writing In the Sunburned Red when I was 25, and wrote the bulk of it when I was 31, 32, somewhere in there is when I wrote the bulk of it. So um, I took a lot of the lessons from writing The Shadow of the Past, and what I did. So I've done more with sort of planning things ahead of time and having an idea where things going. And yeah, just overall, even when I've done all the edits, I've been much more. I think it really shows my maturity, as how I've matured and gotten better as a writer. I'm more pleased with the flow and the language and the setup of everything. Um, and think I did it, not to sing my own praises for a second. I think I did quite a good job on that, to be perfectly honest. Um, so yeah, that's a big sort of the history and the information on that, on my second book there. I hope you enjoyed it and got some ideas sort of on how I wrote and set it up. I'm really hoping my third book doesn't take me near as long from you know first putting words to Word document and then publication as the second two. And I think I'll talk about that next week, sort of what I've gotten, what has evolved from my third book, When Gods Do Meddle, so far. But yeah, I've really enjoyed the process of writing that one. I'm very pleased with it. I really encourage you and hope you'll check that out. Either read it on Kindle Unlimited, buy it, um, on Kindle and paperback. There's because it's fairly short. There's even a hardcover version of that. I'd love for you to check that out. I will, and all that's linked down below. I do hope you have a, as well as please like, share, subscribe. What are your thoughts on the history of the book and my writing process? I would love to hear from you. My name again is John, and I hope you all have a fantastic day and get to do or experience something creative. And I'll catch you on the next one.